Good afternoon, Mountaineer fans. This is David Crumpton along with Chuck Fiebernettes. And then for the second, and for me, the little third short time today.
Mhm.
Happy, happy Saturday. This is going to be, and as the week goes on, we're going to have really, really minute details, travel information, weather, all that good stuff. But we're gonna go over Tuscola's playoff opponent here and kind of get everybody up to speed with what's happening with the Mountaineers, the seeding, the bracket if they go as it goes forward, and then we're going to talk a little bit about all the other Western North Carolina teams in the 3A bracket. The other stuff really at this point doesn't, we're pulling for them, but it really doesn't affect what we're doing. So, Chuck, Alma College, big win.
41-20 moved to 8-0 on the season.
There you go. And
Of it. Well, they didn't play well, but
hey, a win's a win. And my beloved Mars Hill Lions all over Virginia Wise, moving to 7-1, 6-1 in the conference. And I haven't had a chance to do much looking at the Catamounts. We got a text that said they weren't playing well. I don't know what that meant. So I don't know if they're winning, losing, whatever. If somebody's got some information, please let us know. But kind of a long morning, Chuck, as we were trying to figure out where the Mountaineers were gonna be seated, and ended up in as the 24 seed, playing number 9 High Brighton. Both teams identical 5-5 records. We scored a little bit more points and gave up a little bit less. They give up a lot of points. Don't know a whole lot about them, and we'll do more research as the week goes on. And I'm sure between hey Solange, my cousin in Israel, I hope you're well. I love you and our family. We're thinking about everybody over there. Please stay safe. But if you were Jonathan this morning, you couldn't have this bracket from where you ended up. I mean, wow, you know.
yes. If Jonathan, I think he's ecstatic right now. Haven't talked to him just by listening to the text, but the whole coaching staff was, look, they told you they were going to sit around and just watch games. They were monitoring everything. It was like a CIA operation where they were watching all the practice and people and everything like that. So Jonathan doesn't, he can fib some. He's, well, we're just going to watch games. No, they were getting together. And the moment that they got the first preliminary about 1:15, they began to go and start game planning and researching and getting their information. And they were prepared if that was going to be the final. Now, they had to throw out a couple preliminaries to see how they would react, if there was anybody balking at it and that. But it ended up being the final. And then, so they got a couple hours head start. And right now they're locked down doing what they do, all weekend. And that's getting ready for their first playoff opponent. High Brighton.
Yeah. Because, it usually the way it works, and again, you and Jonathan are a lot more in tune, and probably, to be brutally, well, no, the last 3 years he's been, so I take that back. You two are very in tune to this, but it wasn't supposed to be final until 4:00. And the first bracket came out at a little after 1. Then the updated bracket came out at 2:09, and it didn't change. And at that point, we were all deep in our text. And then it wasn't, what was it, like 2:40 something? And Jonathan comes across and goes, it's the final bracket. And then, we said, are you sure? And he said, it's the final bracket. And then, so apparently there wasn't a lot of coaches' teams that were going back and fighting it, or they either said, hey, this is just the way it is. So, listen, a good draw, but hey, you got to go play. High Brighton's ranked ninth for a reason, uh, but pretty good draw if you're Tuscola if they're able to advance.
Right. 9, High Brighton versus number 24, Tuscola. And I can't imagine, because all the talk was possibly Oak Grove or West Charlotte. That is in due time. But everybody starting the second season, every football season has 2 seasons: the regular, and some even break it down to 3: the non-conference season, and then the conference season, and then the postseason. I happen to think that because non-conference games are mixed in sometimes later in the season, that it's just the regular season you got to be in tune to win. And I'll tell you, when games are played in August and early September, you have got to be locked in to win those, because as you look at this thing, there were some teams that lost some seedings and are sent to places because they had dropped early games. So, I mean, that's important for the kids to learn, especially the ones that are coming back for any high school, particularly Tuscola and Pisgah, as we talk about this, our Haywood County schools, is that when you come back, is that you got to be ready to get it going from the opening kickoff of the regular season. You got to gain points, because I'll tell you where I saw a flaw. Tuscola's ranked 24. Smoky's ranked 23.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you looked at it, I got thinking, well, then they hit 5-5, and I think Smoky was the same way, 5-5. And they were wild cards. So I don't think they went head to head. They went and put them into the pool next to be seated. And because Smoky's RPI, that power ranking, was slightly higher than Tuscola's, they got to 23. So it didn't take into account head to head.
Yeah, and those things I don't understand.
Well,
but if
okay.
you if you are a Mountaineer person, if you are a Tuscola person, and you look at this bracket, and again, you got to win. You know what I mean? You have to win. And we are in the same bracket as you advance as the number 1 team, Crest. But that's on down the road. You look at this thing and you go, wow, that's a lot better than we anticipated as far as coming out of the gate and possibly second or third round. I don't know. You got to go play the games in the 3A, and we're going to get back and talk a ton this week about details about this game. But the number 1 overall seed is Crest. They're on top of the bracket, and rightfully so. They got Parkwood. Don't know anything about them. Statesville is 16. They play 17. South Point. South Point's always tough. I don't care what the rank. West Charlotte is the 8th seed, and they play Northeast Guilford. The winner of that game plays the winner of Tuscola and High Brighton, the 924. Jay Robinson is the 5th seed. They play North Davidson, 28. Northwest Cabarrus. Is that not where Coach Kiefer went to?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When he leaves,
that's his alma mater.
Well, when he leaves programs, they just most of them maintain.
Yeah.
He's got a knack of turning something around, building it, rock solid foundation. Then he goes on to another place, and then they continue on with some success. Yeah. So that's key for the Browns.
And that's Donnie's alma mater. They play West Rowan 21, 13 East Guilford plays 20 Central Davidson, 4 Dudley, 29 West Iredale. The other part of the bracket starts showing more Western North Carolina teams. In 6 minutes and 30 seconds to go, 32-27, Kansas over Oklahoma, Oklahoma is on the 2-yard line.
Well,
Number three, West Henderson plays number 30, Irwin. The Warriors from Irwin and the Falcons. 14, Ledford plays number 19, East Lincoln. 6, Oak Grove. And that was a big part of the discussion that I had heard that might be a matchup for the Mountaineers was Oak Grove. Plays 27, Ashbrook. Number 11, Pisgah plays 22, North Henderson. That's going to be back-to-back that they play each other. Last game of the regular season was last night in Edneyville, and they played it this coming Friday in Canton. Number 7, AC Reynolds. Remember, Reynolds has moved back now to 3A, Chuck.
right.
Plays 26, Gaston. I don't think this is a really good draw for Smoky Mountain. Number 10, Kings Mountain is at home against Smoky Mountain. Kings Mountain plays really good defense. I mean, they're like really, really good. I don't think that's a great draw for the Mustangs. But number 15, North Lincoln plays 18, Rockingham County, and the second-ranked Hickory. I think it's the Hickory Tornadoes. If I'm not, I could be wrong, but I think it's the Hickory Tornadoes. Play 31, Hunter Huss. That is the West for all 32 teams.
Where did we fall?
We are the 2024 team, and we play High Brighton. Janet just asked. She just walked in.
Yeah, she's an in-studio call-in. That's what we call her. She's an
Yeah. She just called in. Yeah, she's just live. Okay, so let's go down here to the bottom of the bracket. And again, we'll have a lot more detail on Tuesday. And I feel like we probably not Thursday because everybody's getting ready to travel. But if we can line some things up, I'd like to be able to have Jonathan on and a couple of 3 or 4 other coaches from Western North Carolina come on and talk a little bit about their matchups on Friday if we can line that up. So Smoky Mountain and Kings Mountain. Again, Kings Mountain can play some defense. This is really it's almost a silly question to ask you at this point, but your initial thoughts.
Well, my initial thoughts. I'll start with the
with that game. No,
what?
let's Smoky and Kings.
Oh.
I'm going to go up the bracket and just quickly talk about each one.
Because of North Carolina. 10 Kings Mountain hosting 23 Smoky Mountain. I told Jonathan, I texted him when this came out and was final. I said, somebody down there in Chapel Hill likes you because you were 24.
That's rare.
You were 24 and they were 23, but they drew Kings Mountain and you drew High Brighton. Between High Brighton and Kings Mountain, I want to play High Brighton. Not that High Brighton's a bad team, but Kings has, for the last 4 or 5 years, had much more success in postseason than High Brighton has. High Brighton's a talented team. They got great athletes. They got good coaches, and they wouldn't be in this position if they did. But if I'm looking at the brackets, the first thing I looked at from Tuscola standpoint was I don't want to play Kings Mountain. And so Smokey's going to have to go on the down to Kings Mountain to play the Mountaineers, the other mountain team.
And AC Reynolds, oh my God. Chuck, I'm going to walk away for 30 seconds. Janet, people, everybody knows. I'm going to look at you. Janet just locked herself out on the deck when she closed the sliding glass door. My wife is half insane. Don't tell anybody I said that. Hold on. Let me unlock the door. She's crazy.
All right. It's an unusual show.
She's half crazy. Okay, so anyway.
We were talking about AC Reynolds.
Yep. So we got Reynolds and North Gaston. AC Reynolds is number 7. And I will say this before I throw this part over to you. Uh, they didn't play many cupcakes in their non-conference because, again, they're in a difficult situation more so than any Buncombe County team, maybe besides Asheville High. It's tough for them to find pre-conference people that want to play them. So anyway, Reynolds back in 3A, North Gaston.
Okay. Before I get to that, I always look at playoffs as the top four seeds before I even look at anything. And a reminder, even though we put it in order, Crest is 1, Hickory is
Yep.
number 2, West Henderson's number 3, and Dudley is number 4. Sort of like the standard bearers for the 3A
Yeah.
West. Now, AC Reynolds was 7th, so their reputation, their records in the conference, they come out as a number 1 seed out of the MAC, but they only drew the 7th seed. Okay, and I think it's an excellent draw playing North Gaston. I think AC Reynolds, because AC Reynolds, if they beat North Gaston at home Friday night, plays the winner of Kings Mountain and Smoky
Smoky Mountain
at AC Reynolds. So I think AC Reynolds is in very good position. The second round game may be a really studly game. And I think that AC Reynolds is set up to at least advance, a good setup to advance to the third round. Excuse me, I'll stammer. I think they're set up to the third round.
Okay. North Henderson and Pisgah. And the really wild thing was early this morning. The information kept coming in while we were doing the Jonathan Crumpton show, and it kept coming in and going, first round game, Tuscola at Pisgah. And it kept coming back in, Tuscola at Pisgah. And, if that's the case, that's the case. But, I guess they just flip-flopped, and again, that was not from the state of North Carolina. Let me say that was not from the state of North Carolina.
No.
That was from these people that are to prognosticators,
right,
that had said all that. So anyway, North Henderson is traveling to Canton.
Right, but now let's look at this at a little different angle. In the postseason, when they came down, North Henderson is ranked number 22, Smoky Mountain's ranked number 23, and Tuscola's ranked 24. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you have those three were ranked together. It just the draw, I think it just happened the way it is. I think it is the most intriguing opening round game of the 3A bracket, maybe in the playoffs, because they have just got it less than 24 hours ago. They just played a 55-41 game in Edneyville at North Henderson. Now, all the work they've done, you really don't have to put another game plan. All you have to do is analyze that game that you just played, put it with your game plan information, and so you're not having to do a whole lot of work getting ready to know this team and what game plan you're going to use, because you can find out where you were flawed in the game plan. Excuse me.
Chuck, can I stop you for 1 second?
Mm-hmm.
Can I stop you for 1 second? 4 minutes, 35 seconds ago in Raleigh, North Carolina. 4-3 NC State 24, 4-3 Clemson 7. Go ahead.
United States winning 24-7.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I texted. I said it looks like that Klubnik it looks like your Klubnik kid looks like he's been thrown under the bus. Oh wait, he was thrown under the bus last week, so he's playing like it. Dabble destroyed another quarterback. And just let me say that he destroyed.
Well, let me just say that I feel for that kid, because my kid, if it's almost what's happening with him, is a mirror almost a mirror of what happened to my kid. Now,
Right.
back to
All right.
Pisgah and North
So
Henderson. I
this
apologize, but
this is good.
this is live.
Huge playoff game in Canton, where number 11 Pisgah plays number 22 North Henderson. The winner of this game will play the winner of Oak Grove and Ashbrook. Now, both North and Pisgah are hoping that maybe there's an upset with number 27 Asheville, because if they beat number 6 seed Oak Grove, you get to host that game. But Oak Grove, which is, by the way, sort of like a southern suburb of Winston-Salem, you got to come down to my area to play Oak Grove as a 6 seed. And so you're going to be on the road if it's the favorite that wins that game. So you do want an upset there, but nevertheless, what you just got done playing a 55-41 game, and it was back and forth the entire game, and you got to play again in a week. Come on, that is going to be the intriguing one, because there's no foolery. There's no. I know Chappell unloaded his book, his trick plays. He was doing everything, and kudos to him, because you never know. You worry about the first round playoffs if you get there, but the fact remains is that they were all locked in to win that game. And North knows everything about Pisgah, and Pisgah knows everything about North. That's going to be a big, huge game, interesting game here in the county, Haywood County.
And number 3 West Henderson and number 30 Irwin. The Warriors from Irwin are traveling over to Mills River.
They played earlier here.
And man, I just again, I go back and say a lot of stuff in the things that we said earlier in the year came through.
Right.
Everything was going to go through Mills River, and it did. And Coach Witt and those kids have proven to be what was that Coach? She said, "You are who you say you are," or whatever. But I don't see I'm an alum from Irwin. I'm going to die a Warrior. After I always check the score out here now, the first thing I look at every week is I want to know how the Warriors are doing. Pull for them till the day I die. But man, that's going to be a hell of a test. And we'll out there in Mills River this week.
It's here's the difficulty. Here's the obstacles that could happen. Not say will happen, but could happen. Yes, Paul Whitaker's a fantastic coach and can. He's proven to work his way around those obstacles. West Henderson soundly defeated Irwin earlier in the year. Soundly defeated them. So now you got to play them in the first round. And coming off of a very emotionally intense football game Friday night at Tuscola, do you have a letdown? Is Irwin a team that could possibly shock the world and go in there? Kids are kids. You're talking about its difficulties getting emotionally jacked up, and especially when you're starting to look at, kids will think, yeah, but we beat them like 49-10 or whatever, something like that.
Normally, I would say there could be. Number one, let me say this: I've known Rodney Pruitt since Jonathan was in the 2nd or 3rd grade. I've got immense respect for him and what he's done in my alma mater. I'm proud of him every day. So that's the first thing I want to say. But I know these kids that we competed against last night, and I know that Truett Manuel is a different cat. And I know that if he's in my locker room and in my huddle, my team's not going to have a letdown. And I just don't see that at all. Now, again, kids are kids, but man, these kids, they're going to follow his lead. And this kid is a bulldog. And they're going to be ready. And so that being said, in the upper part of the bracket, Chuck, the only team from Western North Carolina in the upper part of the bracket are the Mountaineers from Tuscola. Look at the bracket.
Right.
It's just us. Everybody else is down in the flatlands or on the crest of the mountains.
Right.
But nobody but us.
But you're 2 and 3 games out of meeting number one crest.
Yes.
When you're down that low, you look ahead. We as fans look ahead. Players are not to look ahead. They're to focus on what, the task at hand. Coaches can't afford to look ahead. They got to look right now at what's before them. We have the luxury of them to look ahead as fans. But you're in the toughest bracket.
Oh, yes.
Okay, Tuscola's in the toughest bracket, and three rounds or 2 rounds from now in the third round, 2 wins, and you're more than likely going to face Crest. That's fine.
Yep.
But let's get through, round 1, because first time I say that around a coach, they're going to oh, no.
Oh, and Jonathan, he's hilarious anyway.
We don't think second round when we got to play.
No, because that's a heck of a task they got. We're playing on the road. They're playing on a grass field, which I like. And I don't know. I'm trying to think back. I think they played 1 game on a grass field this year. I think just 1 game. If maybe Polk was grass, I could be wrong. But they're playing on a grass field. That's a little bit of an adjustment. But the one thing that they do is he's got them. They practice every day on grass, so that's a good thing. He doesn't do what the other folks did and get on the bus and travel to CE Weatherby every day. They practice there on campus on the grass field, so I think that's going to help them a little bit. Right. This time yesterday, our discussion was we were really concerned. Based off of no really information besides the fact that, but of Jonathan saying, I don't know if we don't get to W, and Pisgah beats North, I don't know, and you were trying to get more, and that was pretty good. You were trying to get something out of them, and that just wasn't going to happen.
Right.
But all in all, your thoughts on not the stuff from Jonathan, the staff, and the team. What's your thoughts on where they ended up round 1? Forget round 2 or whatever, but where they ended up and the opponent that they got. Your thoughts?
I have to include the others because I am, after looking over this bracket, all teams got placed exactly where they needed to be placed, properly placed. And so you have to give kudos when it happens, kudos to the Athletic Association for the 3A West.
I'm going to stop you for a second.
Hold on.
Lightning just struck. The sun, the earth stopped moving on its axis.
Mm-hmm.
The oceans are now, there are no waves. It is all smooth.
Mm-hmm.
The North Carolina State High School Athletic Association, those people down there that know you and know you well, that probably now just went to the wine cellar. Yeah. They've got wine, they've got cheese, they're eating steaks, because for you to say that, and this isn't a joke, for you to say that that's pretty damn big, because you have, and I don't mean this in a negative way, you have been the biggest proponent to that the North Carolina State High School Athletic Association, the biggest adversary for them for a long time. Right. So that's a heck of a statement, and I appreciate you saying that.
Well, I mean,
now go ahead.
All right, because looking over, it's a 3A bracket. I haven't got into the 2A, 1A, or 4A. I find flaws there. No. The 3A bracket there's no argument from it. There's no reason to argue. Everybody's pigeonholed exactly where they belong, where they deserve. There's nobody that got special treatment or anything like that. and they were very efficient in getting it out, putting out the preliminaries. So I give them credit. And Tuscola is supposed to be playing High Brighton on the road. Irwin is supposed to be playing West Henderson at West Henderson. Pisgah is supposed to be hosting a game against North Henderson. I mean, you look at every one of these games and your heart goes out to Smoky Mountain. I mean, poor guys, Dickie Brindley has probably got to take his club out there all the way down to Kings Mountain. And, that's going to be, I'm going to tell you something. I've been there at that stadium. Legion team played right next to it. And that is a stadium them trees around it. It's eerie. It's eerie. Okay. Lights, grass, got a little hump in the middle of it, the grade, that they have in the old, fields. The stadium is built into this cement stadium. Home stadium is built into the hill. When you walk on the top, you're walking alongside. You don't have breezeways. You walk right down to get your seat. That place is eerie, and but they play great football there. And the thing I would tell Dickie Brindley is that don't think that they're going to call off dogs. That's not a school that does that stuff. I mean, it's just not. So you're going to have to play one heck of a game for 4 quarters.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's it. So here we go. Yeah, everybody's 0-0. And I don't, and if you're a number 1 seed, you better go play. I think people on any given Friday, anybody can play with anyone, and I'm a true believer of that. But I'm excited for the Mountaineers. I'm excited for these kids. I'm doubly excited for these seniors that years from now, when they talk about the 2023, when you and I are dead and gone, these seniors they're going to be remembered as a group that is just special, more than just the winning and losing and all that good stuff, but all the things that they did that were right. And I'm glad they get to play another week and wear that tee and go out here and fight for something. So that's awesome. Go ahead, my friend.
My take on this first round in these playoffs is you want Tuscola, West Henderson, Pisgah, North, and Smoky Mountain, those 5 teams, you want them to represent the Mountain 7. I wish they would all win the first round game and advance and get a couple teams into second, maybe the third round, because that then would show the strength of the Mountain 7. This is the time right now that you hope that these teams pull these upsets to say we're not these mountain teams that can't play football. We can. And if you lose a game, you want to make it a really close game. You just don't want to get, the stuffings beat out of you. You want to go down there and make it a game. So either or, if you're going to lose, I hope it's tight. And if you're going to win and shock the world, then go ahead and do it. But I'm rooting for show what the Mountain 7 is all about. But I will say, final comment, David. Do you know
No, hold on, Chuck. I need to stop you because we're not going to get off the air for a minute.
Okay.
38 seconds to go.
Okay.
38. Well, hold on a second. They're showing a little highlight. Let me say something real quick. 38 seconds to go. I believe Kansas 38. They're showing a replay. I think it's 38-33. Kansas is leading Oklahoma. Oklahoma just got the kickoff. We can't get off the air right now. 38-33, 49 seconds to go. They've got the ball on their own 25.
To me,
you're pulling for the upset because you want Oklahoma to kind of you kind of go away.
Never
swing past.
David, I've never been sold on Oklahoma.
You have not. And, I kind of put them up there all year long, and I'm about to lose that part because I think I think this put, even though Texas never was out of play, I mean, we that's the beauty of doing things live. We can kind of talk about what the heck we want. But even though, they beat Texas, but Texas was never out of it. So my question is, if Kansas beats Oklahoma and they're one loss, Texas is still in it. Is Oklahoma still in it, a fight for a playoff spot?
No, here's why I'm saying why. What you're watching on television, Kansas is beating Oklahoma with a backup quarterback, Billy Bean. Jalen Daniels not played. He's been out like 3-4 weeks. That's a backup quarterback running Kansas offense. A backup.
Second and 20. Ball's on. Oklahoma's got the ball on Oklahoma 15. Second and 20.
Well, but anyhow, while you got that going on, ranked 23, 22, and 24 is a ranking where they tell you you're not supposed to win the game. They got you there for a reason. Is that it's a nice story, but the teams you're playing is supposed to win the game. Where you fans can get a lot out of it, in my opinion, not saying you should do this, I'm just saying a suggestion, is enjoy the fact that you could go in there and cheer like your team's going to upset the favorite. And it makes it playoffs such an enjoyable thing. But, when you're ranked 22, 23, and 24, you're not supposed to win those games.
Well, that's what you're ranked there for. You are correct. You're ranked there for a reason.
Right. Shock the world.
And as this keeps going on, there's 24 seconds left, but I believe that overall that the Mountain 7 was a really good, tough, competitive conference. I mean, again, when I say this, I'm not throwing off on them. They were put in an enviable situation at East Henderson. It's almost unfair to the kids about the situation that they were put in, and these guys going in there and try to coach. Because look, Jonathan didn't get here till April the 1st. My God, look how far behind he was, and he's out. I don't think these guys got there till June. I mean, so I kind of have to put them in a different box. But this is a pretty darn good conference that sometimes people don't. I don't think they think that the Mountain 7 is as good as it is, and I think it's really good this year overall. What are your thoughts?
This was a discussion with Chad Upton and I several years ago, maybe about 7-8 years ago, and he was asking the very similar. And I kind of think it maybe been when Travis Nolan was a freshman and was going to be inserted as a quarterback because of an injury. And he was asking the same question about how tough our conference is and how do you know? And, we're pretty good. And I said, in my opinion, when you come down off the mountain, you got to show up to play. Mm-hmm. Win or lose, you got to show up to play. You cannot get throttled, boat raced, pummeled, and then be sent back home because the perception is you don't play very good football. So when you come down off the mountain, show up to play. And that's the only thing I think you can say to that is how good you are is you've got Tuscola and Smokey coming down off the mountain. AC Reynolds is home. Pisgah's home. North comes across. There's no show there, but they'll get their opportunity, winners of these games, and Irwin also. So for Tuscola, if you want to be a part of a building, you're looking at building, but you want to be a part of, hey, man, that Mountain 7 conference is pretty tough. Because that's what we say about conference they play down there in the southwestern part of the state. It's tough for Tuscola. Is just show up to play.
And all of them.
Tough, right?
3 seconds to the go.
Mm-hmm.
Ball is on the 25, last play.
25
of Oklahoma. Yeah, it was a pass interference against Kansas, but the kid from Oklahoma threw the guy down. But anyway, they got one more play here, 3 seconds to go. So Tuesday night, and I know you will have minute details. I'm going to do my due diligence and do a lot of research, and we'll try to have some people on and kind of get everybody ready for the Mountaineers and kind of let everybody else know in the area about where they can go support their team. And it's an exciting time of year. But let's get one more play in before we get off here.
Right. And folks,
And
for not only Tuscola tuning in on Tuesday night, but let your friends and let the people know at West Henderson, Irwin, Pisgah, North Henderson, AC Reynolds, and Smoky, have them
tune in.
Because we're going to talk about playoffs and everything, so you can get a kind of an idea of what's going to go on come Friday.
All right, here we go, Chucky. 3 seconds to go. Snap. Quarterback's back. Throws it up in the end zone. Ball game. Kansas wins.
Wait a minute. They were 25 yards away from a touchdown?
Yeah, they called a pass interference on Kansas, but it really wasn't. But it didn't make a difference. They just won.
They charged.
That I love that guy coaching at Kansas, by the way.
Leopold. Coach Leopold was a quarterback at Division III Wisconsin Whitewater, and then he kind of went through the ranks and then took over the program. And this guy is a program builder. And the very fact that he built a national program where he, in about 10 or 12 years, won, I think, 8 national championships at Division III. And then he's Buffalo to a dormant program, and then he's at Kansas. We all know what Kansas was several years ago before he got there.
Don't make me laugh.
It was one of the worst. We knew it. We were like, man, they need to give up football and stop playing. But they
Mr.
took
Miles,
program builder, and look where he's got Kansas now.
6-2.
With a backup quarterback that's played the last 4 games.
Yeah. So, anyway, we'll see everybody Tuesday night at 7:00. Thank you guys so much for taking your time out of this Saturday afternoon. We just wanted to make sure everybody knew what was going on. If we don't, and again, if we're not able to get some coaches on, I'm going to work on something to get some folks that know some of these programs and have them on with Chuck and myself, and just have some discussion, because this is a great time of the year. Just a great time of the year.
It's been a good Saturday. Our favorite teams have won. Our Tuscola's favorite athletic director, out-of-state athletic director, the national athletic director of the year last year, John Taylor, his Irvington team won in New Jersey, won big. So, we're throwing out all that stuff. So, I mean,
that's right.
Really good weekend.
That's it. And I'm going to get off here real quick, and Solange and all of my family that take the time to watch us we got overseas viewers.
Hey,
but especially for, yes, sir.
Give Janet a key.
I will.
She's
crazy
in her pocket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But for all our family over there, please be safe. We love you. We'll see everybody Tuesday night, and it's good to be a Mountaineer. But now all this stuff is fine. Now you got to go play the game, and you got to win the football game. So we'll see everybody Tuesday. And Chuck, thank you so much, and go Scots, and go Mars Hill Lions.
Got you, bub.
See ya.